Hello everybody, it's Robbie here, and I wanted to do a video to recap our 2018-19 school year for my second grader, who is now going into third grade. So these are the materials that we used for second grade. Some of them are third grade materials, some of them are second grade materials, and as I go through, I'll kind of let you know what's what. But we do participate in a charter school here that's local to us. And this charter school is a independent learning charter school. So it allows the families to pick the curriculum that they want to use. They make the purchase for the curriculum, and then the parent will then do all of the planning and all of the teaching at home. The school does provide a teacher on record who will help when needed. But for the most part, we're just doing our thing. We are limited to materials that do not include religious or faith-based content. But other than that, we have a lot of freedom in what we choose. That being said, we have a few things here that I purchased because I wanted some faith-based materials in our curriculum. So I'll talk about that as we go through here. But I did want to just kind of recap what we used and how everything worked. Seriously, cat. Why? All right. Most of the stuff I would say worked out really well. There are a few things that didn't, and of course I'll go into that as we go along. But yeah, so I guess we could just get started, right? I'm just kind of walk through, just kind of going to walk through the items that are on the table and talk about them as we pan over them. So this area here is grammar. This Easy Grammar is our main grammar curriculum. I did actually do a separate video showing what we used for grammar, and I went through walkthroughs of everything, and I did reviews as well. So I will link that video below. I don't want to go into too much detail here. This video is going to be extremely long. As you can see, there's a lot of material on this table. So, but Easy Grammar is the primary curriculum. I love Easy Grammar's approach to grammar. It's no frills. There's nothing fancy here. There's no color. It's all black and white text, but the approach is what I like about it, and it works really well. So this is our primary grammar curriculum. We're not done with it. We're not quite halfway through this. It starts for grade 3. This curriculum does. So again, he was second grade, so I didn't start with formal grammar right away at the beginning of the year. So that's why we haven't completed this. But I could have started it at the beginning of the year. The approach is really really good, and I kind of wish I had started it sooner, but it's not a big deal. So we'll just keep going with that, and I have 4th grade ready to go when we're done with it. Language Smarts. This is level C, which is considered grade 2. We use this for practice. It's kind of falling apart. I'm afraid these pages are going to fall out. The binding has kind of separated here, and the pages are still okay. But anyways, the second year we've used this. We went through a little bit of grammar here, and I skipped stuff that I didn't think we needed. But that's kind of what we use this for, is just practice. I do really like it. I don't think I would use it as a standalone curriculum, but it's great for practice, and it's colorful and engaging, so that's what I use that for. Word Fun was basically to introduce the different parts of speech. It's a beautifully illustrated book. I do a walkthrough in my video, so I won't do that here. But we're kind of past that now. So we moved on from this to Mad Libs, and if you want a fun way to teach the parts of speech to your kids, just do some Mad Libs, because truly that will be a fun way to do it, and they won't even realize they're learning. And that's pretty much why we do them. So, and that's not the only book we use. I found a SpongeBob one that's really fun. We've done that one. So you can find those all over the place. Okay, so language arts. Let's just keep going here. This is our handwriting. We're using the Zahner Blosser handwriting. We did start cursive this year. We did some in second, I keep saying second grade. I have an older student. He's the oldest in his class because he has a September birthday. So I keep calling him, he's technically in second grade, but I call him a third grader because now going into fourth grade, because most of the materials we're using are at that level. But technically he was in first grade when we introduced the cursive, but doing mostly second grade work. Gosh, it's so confusing. Anyway, it didn't go so well. So I went ahead and started a new program in third grade. Yeah, whatever you want to call it. So we started at the beginning of this. It does start with manuscript practice. It has a teacher manual, which is the one in the spiral bound, and a student manual. It starts off with manuscript practice, but we skipped all of that because he does copy work in manuscript, so that's why we didn't do any of that. So we started right in on the cursive, and I really like this because it talks about the different strokes, gives names to them, and then explains when these strokes are going to be used and gives them practice on the strokes before they actually start in on the cursive writing. So I really appreciate this approach, and they've updated this curriculum too also for 2020, which I believe they're making this available for this school year, the beginning of or in the fall of 2019. And I've heard it's got some digital options as well, some QR codes that you can scan and view videos and some things like that, and it's more colorful. So if you want to check this out, probably Rainbow Resource is my guess. That's where we got ours, is Rainbow Resource. So anyway, there's that. Word Roots, this is a vocabulary program. Now, we sort of Frankenstein our curriculum based on some kits that are available, specifically Bookshark and Timberdoodle. I kind of do a mix of those two, but this year we kind of even tailored it down a little further even and substituted some other things for both of those. So it really is kind of a hodgepodge of stuff, but we do use a lot of Timberdoodle materials. So this was an item that they included in their third grade kit, and we've used Word Roots before. We used it with my middle son, who at the time was in 7th and 8th grade, and we really liked it. So I was excited to use it for my second-ish third grader, whatever. But it wasn't a good fit. He takes everything so literally that he would take the definition of the prefix or the suffix and the definition of the root word and try to put them together literally, and it didn't make sense. It just wasn't a good approach. For him, vocabulary is better learned in context via his stories and books and literature and that sort of thing. So we put this aside. I may go back to it, I may not, I don't know at this point, but for us, this wasn't really the best fit. So we didn't really do much in that. Okay, so for spelling, we use Spelling UC. This again was something we were introduced to through Timberdoodle. It's of course available through many other resources as well. This is Deming, which also makes Math UC. I did a whole review on this. I had a bunch of different levels to walk through, so I will link that video below. It'll go into way more detail than what I'll do here, but we have really enjoyed this. We finished up level C, we moved into level D. There's placement tests you can take to figure out what level to work in, and I like that it's not graded, so it doesn't matter what level you need. They're not going to be thinking that it's too difficult or too easy based on a specific, grade level. So really, really highly recommend this, and we've enjoyed it and we'll continue it. Okay, for writing, we did something new this year. We are doing people and places in our community. This is from IEW. Now, the writing, this was not included in any of the kits, so this was a separate purchase and a substitution for one of the kits that included, I think, some Evan Moore writing. I needed something more structured for my boys. I say boys, we used IEW Intensive C for my high schooler as well. So writing is just very difficult for me to teach because I what level of expectation do you have for a kid? I just don't know. I'm not a teacher, so I don't have a point of reference for that. I didn't really, I didn't know what level of expectation to have when correcting and grading and critiquing and teaching and all of that for, a second grader. I just didn't. So I was told about this. This is not their intensive program. They have intensive A, B, and C. Intensive A they recommend for third grade. He was technically, second grade, doing mostly third grade work, but I felt like intensive A was just too intimidating to me. Honestly, in hindsight, I don't think so, but we did really enjoy this. This is considered first or second grade, and basically it's the same approach as the IEW intensive programs are, but it's thematic. So they've got a whole bunch of different themed courses that you can get, and they're tailored to different age ranges. So if you check out their website, you'll see that there's a whole bunch of these. You just need a little bit of knowledge about how the program is structured to get started with this. I did not need the teaching DVDs to do this. Anyway, it's been wonderful. I'll do a separate complete review of this because I don't want to go into too much detail here, but this has been a really good fit. And it's so structured in this that he knows exactly what he's supposed to do, and I know exactly what he's supposed to do, and I can grade it easily. So we really have enjoyed that. Okay, so I want to finish up language arts before I move on to other subjects. So let's come down here. Okay, so these books are from Bookshark's Level 2 Advanced Reading course. So Bookshark has their own materials, plus they have complete kits that include some third-party materials. We did not use their complete kit. And we only use their science and their readers. So normally you have readers, plus you have reading with history. And the reading with history includes both the read alouds and the books they read to themselves. And then they have leveled readers, which are also books, which I appreciate because my son doesn't like readers. If we do them together, he's okay, but he doesn't like to read out of readers, even if the readers include complete stories, complete books in them. He likes to read a book, finish it, and then move on. He doesn't like a book that has multiple stories in it because I guess he feels like he's never finished with it. I don't know why, but that's how it is. So I like the fact that Bookshark for level 2 includes these a separate advanced reader selection, because he is an advanced reader, but he still needs content that's appropriate for his age. So this is exactly that. It's Sunlight is the parent company for Bookshark. These books are used in the Sunlight program as well. They've already been pre-screened, pre-selected for content. I didn't have to worry about, at least in my opinion, we didn't find anything questionable in here. I didn't have to worry about having to screen these books before I had my son read them, because trust me, I've picked up books at the library that were supposed to be age appropriate that I was not happy with in terms of content. And just as my little tip, if you're looking at a book, turn it to the middle. Don't read the beginning, don't read the end, turn it to the middle. Read some stuff from the middle, because if you're going to find questionable content, that's where it's going to be. And I've had this happen, I can't even tell you how many times. Even a friend of mine was like, I'm so glad you told me that tip, because I will go to the middle of the book and sure enough, there's something that I'm not happy with and I can't let my kids read it. So there you go. If you're concerned about what your kids read, if you're not, then don't worry about it. But if you are, that's a good place to start. But I don't have to do that with these. But there's a reader's guide, instructor's guide here that is included that gives you a schedule. It's based on a 4-day week, which was great for us because 1 day a week he had classes up at the school for like PE, art, music, and that sort of thing. So we basically were working off of a 4-day week. So this gives you the option to have a day set aside for field trips or other extracurriculars or whatever. And but even at that, and we tried to stick to it pretty closely, we managed to only get through to here. So I've got these numbered and labeled based on the week that they're being read. or started, and we only got to here, so we still haven't read these. So it is a lot of material, but it's good content, and if it takes us another year to do it, it's no big deal. Okay, so this is literature. This is literature that comes now with Timberdoodle. This is the first year they've offered it, or this last year was the first year they offered it, and it's called Mazdas Press, and they it's literally you have a readers, which are right here. There's 2 readers. There's a workbook. There's 2 teacher manuals. The workbook is broken up into 2 workbooks. If you flip it over, you've got the other workbook here for the Daisy book, and then you flip it over and you've got the workbook for the Sunflower book. So we did not intend to use this because we had these. And because this came in the kit that we ordered, I asked if we could just keep it and look at it and maybe try it, which we did. So I'll give a separate review on this because we did do a number of lessons out of here, and I want to give a full review on it. It's good. I really like it. If you're looking for a good literature program that goes into, all of your different literary elements and has really good wholesome stories. That's the beautiful thing about this. It's not a Christian curriculum, but the stories are virtuous, they're wholesome, there's like object lessons galore in each of the stories. You could, and they give you plenty of questions, that you can ask your student in the books, but it also will just open up so many opportunities for discussion without it because the stories are really good. So I'll do a full review and a walkthrough on that on another video. All right, so have we covered all of our language arts? Nope, not quite. Okay, so All About Reading is over here. This is level 4. Now, we had completed most of this last year. As I mentioned, my son is a really good reader, and the phonics, we kind of flew through the phonics. So he finished this up this year, but we only had like 10 lessons or so left in it. So we just took our time and finished it up. I do highly recommend All About Reading. It's engaging, it's fun. He considers this part of fun school, and if you're looking for an effective but fun way to teach phonics, I do highly recommend this. The teacher manual is here. The student manual we finished, so I don't have it here, but it also comes with 2 readers, plus some tiles that you can use and manipulate onto a magnetic surface. So we used a magnetic whiteboard for that, and a bunch of cards that have your sight words and other words that they're learning. It's just a really good, very thorough program. Okay, so I think that's it for language arts. So here, since I'm here, I'll talk about what we used for Bible. Now, this, of course, wasn't purchased by the school, but we started using the Positive Action Bible curriculum 2 years ago, and we have really enjoyed it. And each grade level has a different theme. So the theme for this 2nd grade level is Finding God's Promises. It comes with a teacher manual, which you can get as a PDF and print yourself, or you can buy and it comes in a binder. It also, or you can get, does it come in a binder? I got mine used the first year, and this year I actually bought the PDF. I don't know if it comes in a binder, but regardless, you can get the teacher manual. It is hole punched for a binder. And then the student workbook. We're pretty close to being finished with this, but I have the 3rd grade one ready to go, so we have really enjoyed this. I'll do a separate review on it because, again, I don't want to go into too much time here. But we also use this little devotional, VeggieTales devotional. This is of course, a daily reading. There's a scripture, there's a paragraph, there's a thought of the day, a thought for the day, and a prayer that they do. And we have just continued with this because he enjoys it, and the content has not seemed to be too elementary or immature for him. So we just continue with it. I think of VeggieTales for littles, but it's just really good if you want a good one. And this one is for boys. So All right, what do we got here? Let's do our critical thinking here. Okay, so I was introduced to critical thinking through Timberdoodle. I had never really considered that as part of a homeschool curriculum option, but it is a big part of what Timberdoodle includes in their kits, and I've come to really appreciate it. Critical thinking skills don't always come naturally to little ones. They tend to be very abstract, very black and white thinkers. My son is definitely like that. Even my older boys are like that. So having some tools to get them sort of thinking about things has been very helpful. And this book right here is 2nd and 3rd grade. This came with the 2nd grade Timberdoodle kit, and it has taken us 2 years to get through it. So I do highly recommend this, though. Critical Thinking Company makes amazing critical thinking products, and this is just one of them. But it's very logic oriented and has a lot of analogies and patterning and just all kinds of stuff, and we've really enjoyed it. My son never complained about doing this, and yet it was challenging enough that it I felt like was not just busy work. So this is the critical thinking book that came with the Timberdoodle grade 3 kit. The next level of this book comes with the 4th grade kit, but the 3rd grade kit came with this one. And we did try this, but I didn't find that this was a good fit. I felt like it was too difficult. We both really struggled with this and got frustrated with it. So I'm not sure exactly why, but it just didn't seem like it was as age appropriate as what I typically think of with Evan Moor. So maybe if you have a more advanced student, this would be a good fit. Evan Moor does give really generous samples on their website when it comes to their books. So if you want to take a closer look at this, definitely go check them out. I will be doing a thorough review on this. I do all my Evan Moor materials that way. I'm an affiliate for them. So I do reviews on all their books when I either purchase them or get them myself, or when they send them to me. So there's a playlist on my channel for Evan Moor books. So I don't have one of these up yet, but I will definitely do that with a walkthrough and everything. So we then switched to the Critical Thinking Skill Sharpeners book, and this was fantastic. This is much better. So its approach to critical thinking is a little bit different than the building thinking skills. There's a little bit of analogy and that sort of thing in here, but what I liked about this was it was critical thinking from an imaginative point of view. In many cases, they have to do some drawing, they have to do some mirroring and imaging skills. They have some to make up animals and make up the names and do some things like that. I don't know. I did a complete walkthrough and review on this if you want to look for that, or I'll link it below. I'm sorry. But yeah, where I did a whole walkthrough and I talked more about this book. So this has been a much better fit. So we did use this along with this and really enjoyed it. Okay, so we've talked about that. Let's talk about math, and then I can talk about what's on the back side of this table. Okay, so we're using Schiller Math for our core curriculum, and we love it. This is going to be our 3rd year using Schiller. We started this program with book 2. The kits have multiple books in them, so you can cover multiple years worth of math with one kit, because you get a lot of manipulatives that come with, this isn't even everything. I couldn't fit everything on the table, but I will do a separate review. This is going to be just an overview. If you want a thorough review, just please watch for that. I'm going to be doing that very soon, because we are almost finished with book 3, and that concludes kit 1. So it is a Montessori at home program. So literally all the tools that come with the kit are used in all 3 books. And the approach of this curriculum covers every concept in all 4 learning modalities. So if they're visual, kinesthetic, tactile, or auditory, they are going to get every concept covered in their dominant learning style. So this has been a fantastic fit. We had tried a couple other things and needed something different, and this has been a perfect fit. This is a fractions kit. They separate their fractions out because the fractions are, something that you can introduce whenever you feel like your child is ready. This is the answer guide that comes with it. This is the fraction book. We've gotten about this far in it because we just do it on Fridays. We call Fraction Fridays. And so this book right here will take you all the way through pre-algebra. So that's why they've kind of got this separated out. Some people use this as a supplement to their other math program that they're using, and if their kids need extra fraction help, because fractions can be really difficult to understand for some kids. So this has been really good. Again, I'll include this in a separate review as well. So Mathematical Reasoning is a book that, again, by the Critical Thinking Company. I really love their stuff. It's very colorful and engaging, and we use this for math practice. There's a lot of blank pages in here, though. It seems like the longer we do Schiller, the less I feel like we need this. In the beginning, the approach was so different that I kind of felt like this was like my safety net, because it's comfortable for me. It teaches math in a more traditional manner, in a way that I'm familiar with. So this was sort of my little safety net, but the longer we do Schiller, the less I feel we need this. And so mainly I use it for independent work. When I need him to do independent work, Schiller is very teacher intensive. It doesn't have to be. If they're independent readers, they can do this on their own, but that's part of what he loves about this, is the engagement aspect of it. So I don't make him do this independently. I work with him on it. The lessons are short. It's really easy to do. It's not a difficult time-consuming thing for me to do math with him using this program. So I just continue to do that. But when I do need him to do independent work, if I have something that I need to be doing, or if I'm going to be out of town or whatever, this is what he works from. And I really do like it for that reason. We'll have to cover this more in depth too in another video, because I have several levels of this, so I can do a walkthrough of all the different levels and go into more detail about what we like and don't like about it. There really isn't anything I don't like, though. I'll kind of give you a teaser there. So science is another one that we're using with Bookshark, and science with Bookshark is a really good mix of engaging visual materials. I have a very visual learner, so these books with lots of pictures, small tidbits of information, have been a really good fit for him. The instructor guide, again, is on a 4-day week. It will tell you exactly what to do every day. The Inquisikids DVD there demonstrates all of the different experiments that are done in the program. But you also get, which I didn't picture here, but you get a box full of the items that you're going to need to actually do the experiments. And so to me, it's a good mix of hands-on and visual learning through books. And this book right here, especially this Usborne Knowledge, the Usborne Book of Knowledge, like, he loves this book so much that because I have to turn this into the school, I bought a copy of this, and he's got it in his room, and he reads it all the time, and he's always telling me the things that he learns in that book. So it's probably what I would consider the core book for this particular level. This is the second year we've done this level. It's taken us 2 years to do level 2. I've got it hidden here, but this is level 2. And Bookshark's levels are age ranges, not grades. So just because it's a level 2 doesn't mean it's for grade 2. It gives you an age range. I want to say this is 7 to 9. I think maybe 8 to 10. I truly don't honestly know. If I find out, I'll put it up here on the screen for you. But I don't, we were going to move to level 3 this year, but the content was so good, I didn't want to skip anything out of the level 2, so we just finished it up, and we'll move on to level 3 next year. We don't necessarily do science every day, so taking 2 years to go through the course has not been a big deal. Okay, so let's talk about history. Now, previously we had done Bookshark for history, but I wanted to do American history this last year, and their American history, although was it within the age range of my son, I felt like the books were going to be too well, what's the word I'm looking for? Just not engaging for him. They were all chapter books, which he's more than capable of reading, but he prefers books with history, with pictures. So rather than try to struggle through those, I thought I would try something different. So this is Beautiful Feats, American History, for primary grades. And this is, they say from K through grade 3 is the age range for this particular curriculum. And these are all the books that come with that. And I don't want to try to go into a lot of detail here on this because I definitely will do a separate video on it. But these books are beautifully done. They're lots of pictures. They're not short on content. They don't, they're written at an appropriate grade level, so he's able to read them independently, but we read them together, just so he's got the engagement. And he really loves anything that has the engagement aspect to it. This guide does have Christian material in it. It has some copy work in it, and it does have some Christian content as well. So I purchased that myself, and the school bought the set of books for us. So I will go into more detail about that later, but this again will tell you the schedule, what order to read the books, and what pages to read and when, and it gives you some copy work and some other activities to do along with. So that's why we have the guide to go with Beautiful Feet. It's because we purchased it ourselves. All right, Circuit Maze. Now this was part of the Timberdoodle kit, and they're real big on logic and thinking skills and STEM. So this is part of their logic for the 3rd grade kit. They have to complete the circuit by using these challenge cards. And of course they start with easy and they get progressively more difficult, and they have all of these tiles and different things that they have to do. So basically they have a power pack and these different tiles that allow them to complete the circuit. They all have positive and negative contacts on them. Sorry. I'm not real technical when it comes to this sort of stuff, so just bear with me. But anyway, he loves Circuit Maze. This is definitely something he would choose to do every single day if we get a chance to do it. So love that. And it's definitely challenging enough for multiple ages. I think it says ages 8 and up on it. This Xub Builders was something that came with the 3rd grade Timberdoodle kit as well. It's a STEM challenge set, and these blocks are so cool. They go together in such a unique way that it allows you to do a lot of unique things with them. And of course you get challenge cards in there with that as well, so you can either, he sometimes does his own thing, and sometimes we use the challenge cards just for the sake of, following directions, but it's really, really good. Okay, so I think that concludes everything that's on this table. And I know I mentioned that it had taken us a while to really find a good fit in terms of the different subjects and curriculum that we've chosen to use. And you would think that because of that we'd be sticking with mostly the same materials for next year, but actually we are switching things up in a number of different subjects for next year. And so if you want to know why and what we're using for next year, I'll give you a little teaser. You'll have to watch for that video because it's going to be coming up soon. I definitely want to talk about what we're using for next year and why we're going to be switching some things up a little bit. And I know it may not make a lot of sense if we found good things that we enjoy. If it ain't broke, why fix it? But there are some reasons, and I will just have to leave it at that so that you'll watch my next video. Woohoo! Shameless plug. All right, so I will close for now, and I just want to thank you for stopping by, and if you've made it this far, I really do appreciate you sticking with me to the end of this. If you like this sort of thing, if you enjoy just especially the reviews, because that's pretty much what I do for the most part, is review curriculum, then please do subscribe and click the notification bell so you'll know when I do list the reviews on these materials. I definitely have quite a few to do, and summer is the time to do it. So I list way more in the summer than I do during the school year because of the time aspect. So thank you again for coming by, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.